All right, welcome to our second video lesson for Intro to Algebra. This is also going to be our last lesson for the week. So I want to do a quick review of everything that you're going to want to have done by tomorrow. So you're going to make sure that you've finished any homework that's left undone. Hopefully you had some work time on Wednesday. If you didn't, that's just fine. I'm not expecting, as we've talked about in other videos, I'm not expecting everyone to finish every single problem. I don't want you working for 4 hours on your math homework, but hopefully you've had a chance to look through them. Make sure that with each problem, when you're done with your homework for that assignment, you're going back to the back of the book and seeing if you got it right or wrong. Because it's great to work really hard on problems, but if you don't realize that you got half of them wrong, you may not understand that you really want to get more help on this topic, and you maybe want to do some review before your quiz tomorrow. So remember, you do have your first quiz on Friday. It's going to be a lot of review. It's going to be some questions about the syllabus. It's going to be questions about how to use Google Classroom. So don't think it's just going to be math. All right, because I want to make sure that everyone's being able to find everything. Now, in terms of reviewing, here's our last topic. We're going to talk about combining like terms with addition and subtraction. So make sure you've opened to that in your guided notes packet, and that you've got the homework assignment, which is your presentation problem is number 38. Remember to upload both presentation problems for Tuesday and today's work by the end of the day on Friday. And then your the rest of your homework, 19 through 49 odd. Again, a lot of problems. I don't expect every single student to do every single problem. Just put in the time, make sure that you're checking your answers so that you know if you have mastered this topic or if maybe you need a little bit of help in tutoring. So now that you've got your notes all in front of you, along with the other materials that are listed, a pencil, correcting pen, things like that, let us talk about combining like terms. And again, we're going to start with, you taking the notes along with me, we're going to start by defining like terms for addition and subtraction. Now, the first thing I want to do is define what a term is. A term is just something that we work with in math. So it's something that you can add, subtract, multiply, or divide with. So a lot of time in the notes, I'll just use the symbols for the different operations: add, subtract, multiply, divide. So if I'm looking over here, a term is something like 5x. A term might be something like 10. These are all different examples of terms. Now, like terms are terms that can be combined together. They're terms that they can be simplified, and when we add or subtract, that means that they have the same letter. They also have to have the same exponent, but you're not going to see those yet, and you don't have to worry about them in this lesson. But if you want to add that to your notes, that's great. So these are the like terms that can be simplified, and you can look here. All of these terms are what we call x terms because they all have the same variable x. So that means that they can be simplified since they have the same variable. And here we've got 3x minus x plus 5. One thing that's helpful to know here is that when you see something like 3x minus x, this is minus 1x. So when you see x by itself, that's the same as 1x. And then from there, you're just going to combine these like you're thinking about them as objects. So if I have 3 of something, I take away 1, and then I add 5 of that same object. We are going to say 3 minus 1 is 2, so 3x minus 1x is 2x plus 5. And then 2x plus 5x is 7x. So you'll notice at the end, we have a fully simplified single term, or one for each type of term, and that the type of term is the same. So we started with x terms, and then we still have just x as our one type of term. Here we have two types of terms. We have a w and we have v's. So you're going to have both types in your final answer. We also have parentheses here. The way that we deal with parentheses when we have a number on the outside is called distribute. And what most of you have done with this before is you'll draw this in and make sure that you're multiplying both terms by that 5, since it's multiplication, since they're pressed right against each other. So here we see the multiplication separately, and we follow our order of operations, meaning we multiply first and then we'll add and subtract. So this is 5w, we might just rewrite it as 5w, versus 5 times 10v, which is minus 50v plus 45v. So the w term is the only one by itself, so it can't be simplified. That's fine. It's just going to stay as 5w in our final answer. With these, we have minus 50v and positive 45. When we have a negative, we make sure that it goes with the number that's right after it. So this you can treat like negative 50v plus 45v. Negative 50 plus 45 is negative 5, and then it's a v-type term. And we're done since we don't have a way to combine terms that have a w and a v. All right, here we see some where we have letters and then what we call constant terms that don't have any letters with them. Those are their own separate types. And again, we're going to distribute. The first one is pretty straightforward. It's 3 multiply both times. Here you'll notice again we're going to make sure we're keeping the negative with the number that comes immediately after it. So you're distributing a negative 2. So here I've written out all the multiplication. 3 times a minus 3 times 4 minus 2 times a. The plus and the negative together. And we'll review this some more next week. Plus and minus next to each other is going to become a negative. So when we simplify it, we get 3a minus 12 minus 2a minus 10. Our like terms are our a terms. So 3a minus 2a, which gives us 1a, which we don't usually even write the 1 for. And then negative 12 minus 10, which is negative 22. So you also might write it as a minus 22. You can also use combining like terms in a solve type problem. So you'll notice here we have a plus 9a. Those are both like terms here. So 1a, remember we think about something like that by itself, we think of that as 1a. So this is 1a plus 9a is equal to 5. Add those together, they're like terms. That's 10a equals 5. Now it's a solve problem, so we want to get our variable by itself. It's being multiplied by 10, so we divide by 10. So a then by itself is equal to 5 over 10, which we don't want to leave like that, so you can either simplify it to 1/2 or 0.5. I'm not super picky about decimals versus fractions, whichever one you prefer. All right, so these videos will hopefully help you. Hopefully for a lot of you they are review, but you've completed Wednesday's assignment that'll show me a little bit of what you remember and what you were able to do last year, which will help me figure out exactly what things we need to review as a class and what things you already came in knowing how to do. So thank you very much for completing that. And please ask me in the comments if you have any questions or anything I can help you with. I look forward to talking with the last few that I haven't gotten to yet about our one-on-one meeting. And please be in contact if you have any questions or concerns. Talk to you later.